Welcome to another episode of Harbor Rock Wealth Management's podcast series, Life, Health, and Wealth, where we discuss financially driven topics and how they relate to our lifestyles. He's Reuben Smith. I'm Jimmy Luster. And today we have Micah and Rod here from District 68's Challenger Little League Division.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Thanks
Happy
for
to
being
have you.
here, guys.
Hey, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Absolutely.
So this is the first episode, fittingly. We're diving into a topic deeper than surface level baseball, but hey, let's be honest, baseball is very important, and it seems like we all have a love for it. This is the first episode right behind you guys with the new Rod Carew jersey.
Yes.
Great
yes.
first name, by the way.
Right?
I really like that.
Rod.
Well,
Welcome,
we kind
Rod.
of planned that one. As I was telling Micah, we have a client who's a framer, and he does a lot of our framing work in here. And
Yep.
we had given him this recently to do, and his turnarounds, he always takes care of us. But we were thinking, we better get this thing up before Friday and he's like, I'll see what I can do. So thanks, Greg, for showing up and
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Looks great.
making that happen for us. So before we dive in, I'll give a couple of fun facts that are baseball related. I know our viewers just love my stats of the day. So, but
It's your show, man.
so
It's your show.
actually this one has to do with Reuben. So in 2001,
Oh, okay, cool.
Reuben
I like
took
this.
a trip with two buddies who I now know. Unfortunately, I didn't know Reuben at that time. I would have loved to be on this trip.
We had an extra seat.
Went to every baseball stadium, Major League Baseball stadium in the U.S.
Wow.
That's
in
right.
2001.
In 1 year?
At one
In
crack.
57 days.
Wow.
We did, we did, it was 57 days, over 15,000 miles. We started here in Orange County, went north, then kind of carved our way across the country. We had a pit stop in where do we? Oh, for the All-Star break, we were in the Florida Keys. So we went from Tampa, had the All-Star break, drove down to the Keys, then back up to Miami, camped in Cooperstown, New York, for a couple nights, a couple pit stops along the way. But yeah,
Best stadium, worst stadium.
well, it's old and new, and it's still, I think, the same case. So you can't fight against Wrigley and Fenway.
You went to Old Yankee Stadium.
Old Yankee Stadium. We sat in right field. Not gonna lie, not my favorite.
Yeah,
Not my favorite. But
I like to hear that.
favorite stadium was Wrigley by far. Wrigley day game midweek sold out. I mean, you can't.
Oh,
can't beat
boy.
it. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's a memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good stuff.
And where'd you end?
Arizona.
Cool.
Oh, technically we ended at the Murph.
Okay.
In San Diego
Makes sense.
because we invited all of our friends for the last game. So we had a big party and tailgate down there. But
That must have been the tail end of the Murphs days.
pretty close.
They're just celebrated
yeah,
their 20th anniversary at Petco.
Yeah. It was on its way out for sure.
Yeah.
Petco's fantastic. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
a day game at Petco, food, the beers, it's just what a great experience. I got another stat for you. So this one's insane, and it belongs to Tony Gwynn. One of the most famous hitters and a
My
local guy.
favorite baseball player of all time.
So this
with
is incredible. So, and I've known this one, but I just heard it again the other day. So John Smoltz, Tommy Glavine, Greg Maddux, that three on the Braves in the mid 90s was just ridiculous. Probably one of the best trio of pitchers in the planet ever to be on the same team. And let's just throw in Pedro Martinez, another one of the best to ever live. So collectively, they faced Tony Gwynn in Tony Gwynn's career about 300 times. He only struck out 3 times
Three times.
Wow.
to those guys.
Wow.
Now, so that's nuts. But did he get hits off them? Well, no. He crushed those guys. He hit over 400 collectively.
Oh, that's
Over
a more
400
impressive stat.
collectively. And if you hear Maddux, especially, he doesn't just throw out compliments to hitters. He's like, that guy just owned me. It was
Right.
ridiculous, So anyway, I thought that was insane. And having played at a fairly high level, I know how difficult that could be. Just imagining you have to face those 4 guys over 300 times in your career, and you go, I'm 4 out of 10 getting a hit off them, and I only struck out 3 times. So
Wow.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Love
So
Tony Gwynn.
Little League, I was driving in today, and I was like, what are we going to talk about today? Challenger League, Little League, bringing back memories. And all of a sudden, I had the Little League pledge in my head. And if you can't, I'm like, I think I still know it. So we're going to kick this off just like we would a game with the Little
official,
League
man.
pledge.
Let's
And
do
if
it.
you want to repeat after me, we can do the pledge. So I trust in God.
I trust in God.
I love my country.
I
and
love
will
my
res-
country.
And will respect its laws.
And will
And
respect its laws.
I will play fair.
I will play fair.
And strive to win.
And strive to win.
But win or lose,
But win or
I
lose,
will always do my best.
I will always do my best.
Now we're ready to get cooking. Cool.
Are we
I'm
sure
warm.
it's Friday? Because we do this every Saturday.
Yeah.
Every Saturday pregame.
morning.
No, I was gonna have eye black on and everything this morning. I was like, "It's game day, baby!" Like Jill's like, "Are you excited?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's game day."
Hey,
for
let's
me."
play too.
Got the butterflies going. I'm ready to go. All right. Well, let's get down to what's important. Again, Rod and Micah from District 68 Challenger Little League Division. Tell us a little bit about Challenger. Let's just go really get basics here. What is the Challenger League, and why are you involved in it?
Challenger is a specific division of Little League International. The birthplace of Little League, Williamsport, Pennsylvania, world headquarters there. Challenger is the division that is devoted and dedicated to players that have special needs.
Gotcha.
I have a special needs son, my oldest son, Bobby. That's how I got involved 20 years ago.
Wow.
We were looking for a program that he could play in. We tried mainstream Little League, did not work.
Yeah.
We tried other rec leagues, did not work. And lo and behold, we found Challenger, and we've been a part of it ever since. This goes back to 2004, 2005.
Okay.
Nice.
That then 5-year-old player who's 25 now and on our coaching staff
Wow.
at the Mission Viejo North Padres team, we've seen players over the years that have had an array of disabilities. My son has epilepsy.
Okay.
That's and had numerous learning delays along the way. Has had a tough road of it. But we have players that have Down syndrome, that have autism. Some are restricted to wheelchairs. But they're also some of the most devoted and magical baseball fans in general. I mean, we've had kids come through our program that are bigger baseball fans than I am.
Wow, I bet.
And that's a tall order.
That's tough to do.
That's a tall order.
Yeah.
But that's how I got involved. It was a program that we were looking for our son to be involved in. And I started in the stands watching, and then someone foolishly asked me if I'd coach at first base, and then I'm running the team. And now, in my role as Assistant District Administrator for District 68, which is South Orange County, I now run the Challenger program for our district and all of the 8 little leagues that are in District 68.
Wow. Very good.
Excellent work. Micah, how about you?
I discovered Challenger baseball 15 years ago. My son, who is now 20, was 5 years old, and we found out that there was a baseball team he could play on, and we thought we'd give it a try. Rod was his coach.
No, cool.
And
Rod.
that's
There
when.
you go.
So you guys
that's
have a
when we
special
met.
connection?
Yes,
We
yes,
do.
Coach Rod.
We do.
Yes. And my son at the time was the smallest one on the team, and so his jersey number was number 1.
Yeah.
It was
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
smallest jersey, and to this day, Rod still calls him number 1.
That's my nickname for Bryson. He's number 1.
How cool.
Number 1, and it was so wonderful to have something for him to be involved in, something in our local community. I remember his first game, my whole family was crying. My mom was there,
Sure.
my sister was there, and everyone was just so excited. And even now, his younger brother, my younger son, plays at a competitive level. And it's just so nice to come out to the Challenger games because it is just rainbows and butterflies, and
Seems
everyone
pure,
cheers.
so pure,
Everyone
you know.
cheers each other on,
Yeah.
and it's such a great feeling, to attend these games.
The first thing I thought of and I think, when we spoke the other day, it just like naturally came to me. And here at Harbor Rock, just because we're in financial services and this is a Challenger Little League baseball team, we find ourselves trying to surround ourselves with people with the same approach. And at the root of gratitude, service, and let's be honest, some self-fulfillment. I mean, a lot of the things we do that are outstanding, and we don't think they're outstanding. Other people tend to give us that accolade, but we're just doing it because it's at the root of what we want to help people out.
Right.
We love mentoring. We love coaching. And that's largely what we do at Harbor Rock. We're financial planners, wealth management, and these people are our family, and it's a true partnership. So just like you guys have that special bond together, Reuben and I have that special bond, and when you're doing that, everything else seems to take care of itself. And, that's things get simplified. And it doesn't mean there's not challenges and, a lot of time and effort that goes into it, but it really is special. So it's my understanding that Challenger started in 1989. I didn't know that stat off the top of my head.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Mr. Google. Yes. And as we say, I'm the new Alexa of Harbor Rock now. So that's how I introduced myself to a client the other day. But 1989, it's in 10 countries, and there's over 30,000 athletes, which is incredible. So I come out to a Challenger game. What can I expect to see at a game?
The format's different than a typical Little League game, right? We play 2 innings.
Okay.
And you may think, gosh, 2 innings. Well, everyone bats,
Oh,
right? So we bat the order. Every player is going to get an opportunity to have a base hit. Everybody advances 1 base, so everybody gets a single. We do not keep score,
Okay.
so there's not a win-loss category. There aren't any standings.
right.
I have played to a perpetual tie for 20 years.
Nice work, Rod.
Right. You have a lot of balance there.
And I think the other angle to it is, and I learned this a long time ago when I first started teaching, was it's certainly about baseball skills, and it's about having fun, and it's about working on your game. But we also want these players to be really good citizens, right?
Yeah.
We want them to work on personal skills, soft skills, if they're capable of doing so, being good teammates and practicing really good sportsmanship. That's part of it as well.
Yeah.
So you're going to see everybody bat. It's an hour-long game, but it's 2 innings long,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We do have delays on occasion, occasional base running gaff
It's
of some
adaptive.
sort.
Adaptive baseball is, I think.
Yeah, I think
you
that's
guys
that's
call
probably
it.
fair.
Okay.
That's probably fair. And because it's coach pitch,
Yeah.
right? You've got to have someone on the mound that's able to,
It's a lot of pressure. They got to put them in there.
Oh, ask our pitchers. Sure. Ask her son who pitches for us.
Are they getting heckled when they're not throwing them some strikes?
Yes.
Yes.
We make calls to the bullpen. Believe me.
Yeah.
And the batter will call for another
Oh, I
pitcher.
love
They'll
it.
ask for someone else.
That's
So
true.
yes, as Rod said, my 15-year-old has grown up with all of these players that he's known through his brother. And since he's a baseball player, at one point Rod first let him pitch to his brother when his brother would be up to bat. And then that sort of expanded to the whole team. So he's been invited to Williamsport as well. And he will be a
cool.
buddy on the field. And so he gets to pitch to the players. So he could say he pitched at Williamsport.
Absolutely. What
That's-
a great sense of community you guys have there. That's awesome.
That's amazing. So let's dive right into that. So you guys are about 4 months out from a very special journey. You're on the journey to Williamsport, Pennsylvania. For those of you out there that don't know, that's where the Little League World Series is every year. Teams from all over the world compete. And how long have they been inviting Challenger teams to Williamsport? Are you guys familiar with that, or?
It's at least 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
At least. And I would venture to say probably longer than that.
And District 68's never been.
District 68 has not been previously.
And
No.
you guys are going to go up against a very East Coast team. So this is a true West Coast, East Coast battle.
Yes.
New Jersey.
Yep.
And you know this coach.
We've met electronically. I haven't met in person just yet, but through some of when the teams were selected and the press release was issued, we had a team's call and met our opponent Kevin from New Jersey, and dare I say, there's going to be a little East Coast rivalry,
You guys
East West,
sizing each other up already.
big time.
Right?
There's going to be some chatter for sure. So and I think it's going to be televised.
It will be televised.
Oh, very cool.
There have been various editions of how this has been televised over the years. Back when there was actually internet TV before apps, etc. This is probably 10 years ago. It was on the internet. It was on Saturday mornings, and now we've graduated to ESPN coverage. And the PBS affiliates in Williamsport are going to broadcast it live there as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's the age group of Challenger? Like who can play? Like what?
So the official, if I pull out my rule book,
Yeah.
it'll say ages 5 to 22. For this particular trip, that age bracket is higher. There are really three divisions within Challenger. There's a juniors division, which are the little guys. There's a tweeners division that are somewhere in between, and then the seniors. So the team that we're taking to Williamsport is going to be a blend between the tweeners and the senior team.
Gotcha.
So between 12 and 22.
Okay.
So junior high and high school plus.
Wow.
And the team is comprised of players from San Clemente, Ladera Ranch, and Mission Viejo. We had great interest, obviously, but we were limited to 15 slots.
Yeah.
So there are 15 players that are going to go.
Awesome. And then it's my understanding that no child is denied the opportunity to get involved in the Challenger League. It's not like, oh, we don't have enough money to pay for this or that. I thought that was very important. And that led me to start, how do you get the word out there, or where do you almost recruit maybe kids that have an opportunity to be in the league? How do parents that don't know about it find out about it? Or is it going to be someone outside of a grocery store talking to people about it? Or how do you guys get the word out there about Challenger so these people can understand this opportunity just like you guys did?
Really, my experience has just been word of mouth. This is such a great network of parents. Being a parent of a child with special needs, when Rod was speaking about what the kids learn on the field and they have each other, it's been great for me, just to sit in the stands with other parents of children with special needs. It's my outlet. It's almost like a support group, because they know what I'm going through. I don't have to be embarrassed of any of my kids' behaviors. They know him. They know what to expect. They're experiencing it. We could share ideas on what goes on in our homes, how we cope with things. And that's really how I learned about it. One of our coaches in the district, he actually teaches at our high school. So each year there's new kids that learn about it from him that come and join the team as well. So my experience has just been word of mouth, and we keep growing every year.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, I think there are other programs that are out there that cater to players with special needs, right? For years, we played baseball in the spring, and in the fall, we all played soccer.
Totally.
That's right.
Right? But there are many others. I mean, there's a bowling league for kids with special needs.
Really?
My
In fact,
son's involved in that
They
too.
roll. I think they roll today, as a matter of fact, on Fridays. I think they play on Fridays.
Wow.
And other programs as well. So I think we're able to network from those programs as well. But being part of Little League International, right?
That's
It's powerful.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
they're the best possible stewards for us to be able to market with, for sure.
Yeah.
So I imagine this is cheap, right? To get 15 players and families,
Totally.
fly
Yeah.
to Williamsport, put them up.
Gonna hitchhike on out with all your gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all funded, right? You guys don't need to raise any money for it.
Yeah, about that. That 4-month window you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier,
it's go
man,
time.
it's closing in, right?
Yeah.
So getting 15 players plus a chaperone, plus our on-field assistants, plus the coaches, and getting to Pennsylvania, right? Williamsport in particular is not an international airport.
Yeah, right.
Just so you know, right? And it's a 5-day trip, right? So
Wow.
we play Saturday, but Little League has us busy at all points before and after the game on Saturday. So it's a 5-night trip. Airfare
Yep.
anymore,
Yeah, right.
right? Hotel accommodations for those of us in the industry. The demand generator for Williamsport, Pennsylvania during the Little League World Series. This is when this happens. This is not just a random date in August, by the way.
Right.
This is the Saturday during the Little League World Series.
Right.
Those two pivotal games, the U.S. Championship and the International Championship.
playing the same
gonna be
day?
The same day. We play in the morning, and then those two games are played. And then Sunday is the International Championship
right.
game. So our fundraising efforts, we're underway, but we've put together a working budget of about $80,000
Sure.
that we've got to generate, because the goal is to ensure that these families aren't out of pocket. at all
Right.
for this. We would rather not
Right.
have to have the parents fund this.
Right. And if we can, I think we're going to include some sort of link that you guys can provide us some information,
Sure.
maybe on the show when we post the show. And we will also, of course, get the word out there. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you guys have any events coming up that you're doing? Any fundraising for? What's on the calendar?
Sunday, June 9th, we're going to be having a poker tournament and auction, silent and live auction that day, and just like Rod said, try and raise funds so that these families are not put out of pocket. It's not going to be an easy trip for some people, and we want to do what we can to make it a little easier for them, so that we have on the books so far.
The financial component to it for Challenger over the years is probably noteworthy. And I'll go back to what you asked earlier about what to expect. Most little leagues, right, North Mission Viejo, San Clemente, Ladera Ranch, they've allowed our kids to play for free. In this day and age where registration fees are really good revenue generators for little leagues, we've played gratis for years,
really
right? Including uniforms being issued to us, equipment, the whole shebang. So there's a lot of charity involved on the Challenger side, and that's certainly what we're looking to continue with fundraising for this trip.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not physical. I'm sure a lot of people immediately think physically challenged, kids, but it's the intellectually challenged as well. And so I read about there's buddies. There's buddies on the field. Tell me about buddies. How do you become a buddy? What does a buddy do?
So if you think about how we want our players to be really good citizens and that charitable, idea, the buddies are usually assigned to games for the juniors division.
Okay.
So the players, maybe they're first-time Challenger players. And what most leagues have done, and have done it very, very well, is they will skid. Let's say the Reds are playing the Cubs at 8:00 on a Saturday morning, and the Challenger game is at 9:00. Those players that wrap up that 8:00 game stay, and they buddy for the Challenger game.
Oh, that's cool.
It's usually one-on-one. They will let the players do their own batting, do their own fielding, but they'll be out there to protect them, especially in the event of a really good line drive.
Yeah, laser hit at somebody.
Right,
Yeah.
something of that nature. And those players from the Reds and the other team that I forgot who was playing.
I think you had the Cubs.
Thank you, Reds and Cubs, because I have Wrigley on the brain, right?
Yeah.
But we've had more positive commentary from either those players that have buddied and or their families that they'll continuously do it. We've had on-field helpers that would come on Friday afternoons to help at practice for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Out of their own time, just to have the opportunity to play with us and hang out with these kids.
I love that.
Wow.
My younger son's high school team is coming out to our Challenger game tomorrow, and the parents are so grateful that I set it up each year that they could come out and do this. And I have moms coming tomorrow of kids who that can drive themselves, and they say, "No, I'm coming to the game. It's my favorite game of the year.
It's best game of the year.
Yeah.
I love
Just,
it.
and
Yeah.
it's a life lesson for their children to see this and see the joy in these players, and it just brings them back to what baseball should be about, and not it's a competitive sport. Everyone wants to win, but it's just so refreshing to see everyone cheering each other on. That it's a great experience.
It's inclusive. When you eliminate the, there's some good things going on with competition.
Yes.
Right. But when you eliminate the competitive component, it's universal. Right. It's just we're out there. It's for the good of the game. It's for it's
just pure joy.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, how can it not be a good experience?
And entertainment.
Sure.
I mean, there are some really memorable events and plays and hits.
Well, I want to go out and watch a game. I
no,
want to
we'll
get
get-
out
we'll
there.
get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're encouraged to do things as much as they can on their own. Like when the buddies are out there, they're not, like you said, they're there to keep them safe. and having a good playing experience. But you know, a lot of these Challenger kids, they play. I mean, they're not just getting help from everyone. They, like you said, hey, throw me a strike. I want to swing this bat.
Exactly.
And I think that's wonderful. And I think I shared with you guys when we spoke the other day at San Juan Little League. So if Challenger started in '89, it was fresh because I remember. So 91 happened to be the last time San Juan won the district back when it was 55. And I remember we had our couple of fields, our old majors, and then right next door, the T-ball field that I played T-ball on myself. But I remember getting done with our games, and the parking lot is that little parking lot in the middle, you know, where there's a batting cage and everything. But I remember seeing these kids over there with, you know, playing, and I didn't know what it was. And even back then, though, when you're talking about those kids getting done with their games and heading on over, what a great lesson in service at a very young
100%.
age. But I remember seeing that and thinking, like, even back then, I'm like, I didn't pay it too much attention, but I was like, that's really cool. You know, my dad's like, that is cool. Like, remember that, you know, be thankful that you get to play too, you know. And I always thought that was really neat. So those life lessons that I learned on the field, oh my gosh, he knows. I'm like Mr. Analogy. Like every meeting, every opportunity, it reminds me of being at the dish in the bottom of the ninth. You know,
Our
something
clients know as well. He compares everything to a baseball scenario.
It's always, you know, the discipline and the experience and grace, you know, and also competing. You know, it's not all about the win or loss, you know. So how can someone get involved? I mean, is this something that, you know, someone can say, hey, Rod and Micah, I want to get involved with this organization, and is there anything that I can do? Are there opportunities to get involved, and even if you don't have a kid that's playing? Or
Absolutely. I mean, one of my primary responsibilities as a district employee is to grow the program, and we've started that process. You know, the years 20 to 22 weren't very kind to baseball in general, right?
Sure.
Challenger included. But we're now starting to see some of our little leagues emerge with new families that are moving in. The Rancho Mission Viejo community, as it kind of ramps up, right? That's where we really expect to be able to grow that program too. And we need volunteers, right? We need coaches. We need team moms. We want everybody to experience what we've been able to experience over the course of time. And being part of District 68, and I'll drop the District68.com website.
please,
That's got information about all of our little leagues in South Orange County and a page devoted to Challenger and my contact information as well.
Yeah.
But any community, if there isn't a Challenger team already there and there's a player that wants to play, we'll find a home for him.
Awesome.
We'll find a home for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The residency rules don't apply in Challenger.
Yes, the boundaries
I
rule,
got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
right? Where if you
I was going to say, are there other Challenger leagues that are maybe trying to help you guys out, or I don't know. It's not all just up to District 68, right? You guys are going to represent Challenger, basically.
oh yeah,
So, yeah, can you provide a little bit more info? So let's say someone's like, I want to donate. You know, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Or
well, on that website, the District68.com website has a link to our Give Butter donation site, where we are generating funds for the trip. So we're able to immediately have donations come in. And what's really cool about this Give Butter site is that it's got pictures of the kids themselves, the individual players that are going.
Oh, cool.
So you get information about them as well, and information about the trip as well.
I think that's important. I mean, the more you get to know, I mean, it's a great program to get involved with and donate to. But the more you get to know the kids and see, you can get a sense of personality or ages, or, you know, especially then if they come back and watch the game, right? They watch the game over in Williamsport and they say, "Oh, I remember that kid." Yeah, you know, and they're rooting him on. So
We're planning it at the June 9th poker tournament that Micah mentioned. We're actually going to bring the kids, so that they're
smart.
gonna work the room. to be very honest. They're going to work.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, Jimmy, you should check out the Give Better site because there's stats on there, so you
Oh my
appreciate the
gosh.
kids,
Yeah.
their favorite players, their favorite teams,
Like
their
you said, they
favorite
probably know
ice
more.
cream.
They probably know more than I do.
Well, it's
Yeah.
half the fun of the Little League World Series is seeing what these kids are into and their interests and the music they like.
And that's
Yes.
precisely why we put that questionnaire together, because we were talking about it as a committee, and we went, well, you know, half the fun when watching that Little League World Series on television every year is my favorite baseball player is X, and macaroni and cheese is my favorite food.
How many kids like pizza? Come on.
Exactly. And you know what? The Challenger kids feel the very same way about food, baseball players, movies, rock and roll bands.
Yeah,
Sure.
so I can imagine these kids are getting excited for this. I mean, they're planning out everything, you know, like how fun.
We have 2 kids on our team. One thinks his last name is Trout, like my Trout.
That's right.
Of course.
And we have another kid who just goes by Jeter.
Jeter.
You just call him Jeter.
The captain. And then there's got to be a salmon if there's a trout. I mean, you got to, you know,
Wow.
kingfish, man.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. Very cool.
Well, cool. Well, you know, there's always that saying, not all heroes wear capes. I got two superheroes here, in my opinion. I mean, you guys are doing amazing work.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We definitely want to get involved. So that's what this is the first step. You know, you've entered into the Harbor Rock Studios to spread the word about this wonderful organization, and we're really excited to get involved. And we're happy. So we're giving you guys a Cal Ripken signed jersey for your auction, and we want to start spreading that word.
Amazing.
So, well, who doesn't love Cal, the Iron Man? But I mean, you'll find someone that really loves Cal. So.
Thank
We
you.
just tend to side with Rod Crew.
Yeah.
We're Angel fans. There you go.
Our allegiance is with the Halo. So, but anyway, so I really love that you guys spent some time with us today, and we'll definitely start spreading the word for this trip. It's coming up really fast. Again, it's in August, and we'll have more information on how to make a donation or get involved in the future in Challenger, and we'll be for sure rooting you guys on against New Jersey.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate your time and the opportunity to talk about this really exciting opportunity.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And to our clients, if you're living your life and you have your health, you're the wealthiest person in the world. We'll see you next time.